everybody, welcome back to IP Farms. Well, it's another beautiful day, ending of one anyway. I just want to say ahead of time, I apologize for all the video uploads this weekend and all the mismatched stuff. It's really messed up my schedule with the OCD because I've got videos coming out that were taped prior to today. Today's Saturday, May 23rd, I believe, 22nd or 23rd. Anyway, you've all seen the deal here on the 1086. You know, I posted a few videos about it, a lot of questions, and I didn't want to leave anybody hanging, so worked diligent on it this morning and got it going, and used it for about the last 4.5, 5 hours, and it never missed a beat. So if you're watching this, you're going to be watching it after a video where I said that the 1086 had issues. That was taped last weekend. And you'll also see one, I believe, on Monday that is going to still mention in the title about the 1086. So you know, y'all know how my OCD is. This one's probably going to get long-winded too, but it's messed up my whole routine, so I'm not sure how things will go, but I apologize for that. But I wanted to get everybody a heads up on what was going on here with the tractor once I figured out what it was. So I'll try to make this short and sweet the best I can, and just tell you ahead of time that anybody that runs across this video that has any questions about anything, you know, my email's in the about section of the channel. Send me an email, we'll get in touch with each other, we'll swap phone numbers, whatever it needs to be. We'll discuss it and I'll explain it. This actually turned out to be a really simple job, and it was just a scatterbrain mistake that I made getting in a hurry, and once I corrected that mistake, you know, it went together, and she's never missed a beat since all afternoon. So we go over a few things, and I'll see if I can make this short and sweet. Doubtful though. All right, well, there's the injection pump after I don't know, 4.5, 5 hours of straight bush hogging with a 14-foot jar or more. I gave it the beans. I mean, once it cranked, made sure all the fluids were good, checked everything out, and we went after it. So it's dry as a bone. Not a single leak anywhere on injection lines. Right here was where it was leaking originally, where they all do. The new O-ring that Mr. Bruce got me worked like a charm. Got everything back together. So I'll try to explain what happened, rather than standing out here pointing at the pump, because there's no need in just pointing at it really, you know, without having it all opened up. So I'm gonna try to do the best I can to explain what I did wrong. Alright, we'll give you the same view I did in the first video when I had it running and had to manually mess with the injection pump over there. It's been sitting now for about 30 minutes since I stopped, so not a cold start at all, but I'll show you how it cranks up. Of course, naturally, I forgot something in that conversation, so I'm going to throw this clip in before you see the ending of the video. After you watch that, this will make sense. Before you start any of this, I talked about top dead center. If your tractor is running, just make sure you get the harmonic balancer pointer lined up around 18 degrees, the flywheel marks lined up at 18 degrees, the pointer in that little plug on the side of the pump or the case, get that lined up. Pull the 4 screws off the side of the Ambac 100 pump, look in there in that little window, and if your line is in on a face gear, you're on the compression stroke, top dead center number 1, you're a-okay to pull it out. That was my mistake. I didn't do that before. I went back and timed it. I didn't know that, I thought you could just set that wherever you needed to set it in there. That's not the case. I know this kind of sounds jumbled up and, you know, a mess, if you will, but hopefully somebody's getting something out of it and it'll help somebody in the future. Okay, everybody, I'll try to make this as short and sweet as I possibly can. Hopefully you watched all the videos up to this point, putting it back together. I did everything by the book, did everything exactly like they said. What happened was I basically did not get the face gear on the bottom of the hydraulic head to mesh with the cam gear like it was supposed to. I had a buddy stop by this morning, you know, just to help me out, be a second person. We, you know, double checked, triple checked everything in the plunger. Took that out, put it back in 5 or 6 times, make sure I didn't have anything wrong there. I never messed with the governor assembly in the back of the pump, so I knew none of that should be off. Had to be something that I did. Quadruple checked that, put it back together, went to crank it up, and it wouldn't hit a lick this morning. And I thought, wow, the other day it was at least trying to crank up. You've all saw it on the video. Something's not right. So I got to looking down in that window, and the gear, the face gear on the bottom of the hydraulic head, I could see less of the gear. And it's hard to explain without, having a picture of it. But in that window, I saw less of the gear. And I thought, wow, something's broke. I messed something up major. I was all worried, whatever. We pulled everything back up, got it back up to top dead center. What I thought was no line anywhere in that window. Well, the line was there the other day when I set it. So I thought, well, here we go. So I pulled the injection lines back off, pulled the hydraulic head back out. We looked at everything, looked at the head, made sure the gear looked good. Everything, looked okay. Saw the hole in the metering shaft that's inside the hydraulic head that plunger moves up and down to let fuel in. Got that centered up. You'll have a little bit of play in your face gear side to side before it starts moving the metering rod. Got everything right, set it back in there. He was moving the crank a little bit, which the book does tell you to do that, and I guess that's what I didn't do the other day, as you're dropping that in to make sure those gears mesh completely. We got the gear to drop all the way in like it was what it looked like this morning, which was totally different than what it looked like the other day. So I know now that I never got those meshed. Got it back together, put the lines back on it, put the plunger back in, went to crank it up, no smoke at all, none. I mean, it was nothing coming out of the exhaust pipe. I thought, what in the world? So looked again, pulled everything back up on top dead center as I thought, and looked in the window, and no line on the face gear in the window. So we kept going around. So basically what it is the face gear on the bottom of the hydraulic head turns twice to the crank one. So just because you got all the marks lined up, the pointer down there in the little plug under the pump that I showed you, the marks on the harmonic balancer, and the marks back on the flywheel, just because all those line up, you can still be 180 degrees out. So once we figured that out, that we got it to where it needed to be, I pulled the head back out again, turned it, set it back in, fired up, no problems whatsoever. So basically, in a nutshell, what I'm trying to say is the problem that I had was I did not get the gear meshed back together like it's supposed to be. You've got to wiggle it a little bit and get it in there. I read up, it's a coin toss, 180 out. All you got to do, if you're putting the pump back in, they say you can just spin the gear on the end of the pump, be the same difference. 6 one way, half a dozen the other. That was where I made my mistake. I did not get it meshed, and when I did get it meshed today, like it's supposed to be, we were 180 degrees out. I did not know that the face gear, or the hydraulic head face gear, turned twice to the crank. Learned that today. Doesn't say that in the book anywhere. Don't even really remember it. Seemed like I did see that one time in a forum somewhere, but it is what it is. So anybody's got any questions on this video series about the injection pump, it's a very, very simple job. I think I've probably got maybe 50 bucks in it. I do have quite a few hours, probably total 6 hours in it. But 50 bucks and 6 hours of my time is a lot better than $1,200 to $1,500 for a pump, just because it was a bad O-ring. So it's a very capable job to do with a book, and hopefully if you're running any issues, you can revert back to this video. My email's in the about section. Send me an email, we'll get together. Like I said, we'll swap numbers, whatever needs to be. I'll explain it very simply. If I can do it out here in the driveway, redneck, under a tarp, dirty as all get out basically, and it run like a sewing machine, anybody can do it. And when I put it back together after checking everything out, topping the radiator off, checking the oil, making sure everything was good, putting the turbo intake hose back on, I gave it the beans down there in the field and bush hogged 4.5, 5 hours, like I said, nonstop, and never missed a beat. You saw it crank up after sitting for 30 minutes. It actually does run better. I think it was sucking some air through that gasket. The injection pump's completely dry. Water pump did great. Never got above quarter on the temperature gauge ever. I mean, that's a hard pull in some of this grass as high as it's gotten, so we're good to go on that. Thank you everybody for following along this series. I apologize, like I said, I've got all these videos messed up and video overload this weekend, but I want to just wrap this up and be done with it. So if anybody comes across this issue, they can revert back to these and hopefully move forward with it. But we're done with the 1086 for right now. All you're going to see from that forward is her earning her keep again, because I've definitely missed it over the last few days. So thank you everybody for watching. Please consider subscribing if you hadn't already. You know, hit the thumbs up button if you like what you see. Thumbs down, I understand it's not for everybody. Share the video, especially these, get them out there. Might be somebody else looking to do this on the cheap like me. Sure did turn out pretty good. You know, perseverance and all the support you guys gave, the insight, the silent prayers and everything. I can't say thank you enough. All the ones that helped me behind the scenes, you all know who you are. You know, hats off to you. I really appreciate that. So we're going to see what we can get into, and hopefully the video schedule get back on like it's supposed to be with my OCD, and won't be any more repair videos for a while. Until next time, thank you.